Have you ever bought something and then realized this is not a good fit? Well, you have to pay attention to that in marketing and sales as well. Welcome to episode 47 of the Cheeky Sales Coach. Beware the bad fit. What do we mean by a bad fit? Well, think about it. You've probably been in more than one situation where you find yourself trying to agree with someone or be appealing to someone or to get along with someone when you've already intellectually made the decision, I'm not sure this is the right person for me. So, great example is in dating. People say, oh, so, what do you do for hobbies? Oh, I try to eat as many endangered species as possible. Oh, wow, really? I'd totally love to try that. No, you don't, right? So that's a situation where you've made a decision. This is not really good for me, but there's a human desire to feel liked, to get along with people. And so we say, oh yeah, I would try that. In business, we have a very similar thing. You say, well, I only want to do business with people who have these standards of quality, who are good to work with, nice people, have some money, pay their bills on time, right? You've got your criteria. Then you meet somebody who says, man, you totally have to help me. I only have $300. It's a one-time deal. I'm not going to sign a contract. There's no way I'm going to fit into your box, but you've got to help me. And you say, well, let me see what I can do. No, stop it. That's a perfect bad fit. So, what do you need to do to make sure that you don't engage with people who are a bad fit for your company? Here are 6 or 7 things you need to know about avoiding a bad fit. Thing number 1, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. I love this notion, and it's not always true, but it's often true. If you find somebody who says, I need you to just come in, do all the shortcuts, don't take it seriously, do a less than good job, and next time we'll do it the right way. Chances are they won't do it differently next time. Or they say, hey, just do this one on credit and I'll pay you when I get around to it, and then next time I'll pay in advance. Really? Is that really what's going to happen? Very often, our first impressions of a prospect or a client are pretty accurate in terms of the way they behave. Very few people start out by trying to be something that they're not. It does happen, but it's not the normal procedure for human beings. We usually just are who we are, especially in our first engagements with other people, until we try to make a fit. If you say, I'm going to make an exception for this person one time, chances are you've set a precedent, because now they get to say, well, last time you didn't make me pay in advance, last time you didn't make me follow safety procedures, whatever it might be. So be very careful about that. First impression is often something that's going to tell you a lot about future behavior. Thing number 2, is it all about the price? Very often when we start marketing, we want to talk about the goodness of what we do, the greatness of what we have to sell, and we hope that price doesn't come up until a little ways down the road. After all, it's not the most important factor. But if you have a client who refuses to look at your quote, refuses to go through your marketing funnel and just keeps saying, well, how much, especially when you haven't done enough research to actually give them a good idea of how much, then you're talking about price too soon. And you have to be aware, a client who starts out this way will probably put price first in many, many future discussions. Is that what you want? Is that where you want your business to go? Is that what you want to do with their money, with your future? Thing number 3, communications count. Here's what I mean. When you're talking to somebody, you can't say one thing and mean another. You just can't do that. Remember, your first impression of a client is also their first impression of you in many cases. So if you're trying to make a fit when there's not really a good fit, that can be a bad thing. I've told the story before of how I hired an electrician who was 10 times more expensive than the competition because they walked in and said, well, we only do it the right way. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, period. There was no like, or you can go somewhere else. He didn't say that. That's obviously on the table. But the bottom line is they were only going to do it the right way. They were not going to put me, my electronic equipment, or my house in danger by setting up something that wasn't quite up to spec. This other electrician, the cheaper one, I'm not entirely sure that that was what they had in mind. So when you think about communication with people, remember, if you're trying to fit in with them, you are giving away some of your belief system, and they might be giving away some of their belief system. Honesty is the best policy. You should both come in and say, look, this is the way I do business. This is the way I want to do business. If we have a match, let's do business. If not, don't spend a lot of time, effort, and energy trying to make a match that just really honestly isn't a good fit. Thing number 4, you don't have to help every stray dog who wanders down the street. There are people who will come to you and say, oh, please help me, or I found your name, or somebody told me about you. You need to help me. Not necessarily. There are lots of people who could use your services, but they aren't willing to pay for it. They don't have your standards of quality. They aren't nice people to work with. There's lots of reasons that it might not be a good fit. And so you don't have to take their business just because they wandered into your sphere of influence. There are lots of people in the world who will take their money and not care whether or not they pay their bill on time, not care whether or not they fulfilled their side of the promises that were made. So don't feel bad when you come across somebody who is not a good fit. Sometimes they're just not a good fit. For example, when I go on a dating site and I see, here's a woman who is beautiful and healthy and exercises every day and climbs mountains and does skiing and all kinds of stuff, flies out of helicopters and parachutes, and I don't do any of that stuff. So even though she's beautiful and smart and has degrees and might even read the same books I read, there's too much of a mismatch, and I can't pretend, yeah, I'm going to take up parachuting, I'm going to jump out of helicopters, I'm going to do skiing, I'm going to work out every day. That is not going to happen. So I have to be quite realistic about that, and I can't say, look, just because you showed up on my screen doesn't mean that I necessarily need to swipe right and add you to the potential pool of candidates. Business is literally the same way. People wander into your area and they say, hey, what kind of businesses do you have? Oh, I need somebody who does that. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to engage them just because you offer these services and they need these services. You also have to make sure there's a good fit. Slightly different, but somewhat related to that, is number 5. You don't have to pick up every nickel you find. Too many people in business have this belief system that they have to take this money. Oh, I'm just getting started. I have to take every job. I'm just getting started. I have to reduce my prices. I'm just getting started. I have to work with clients who don't sign contracts. I'm just getting started. It's okay if I sell used stuff. Whatever. It's not okay. You need to determine how you want to do business and then find people who want to do business the way you want to do business. That's a good fit. And I always love looking at airlines as my example. If you love Southwest, well, you love not having to fight the system in order to get a good seat. Basically, there's only one good seat. You either get it or you don't. But you get to choose your seat, and you get to buy in a little bit early, but there's none of this first class, third class, all that kind of stuff. You have a certain vision of what you want your experience to be like. If you fly Delta, you want to check a box and get seated in first class. You want to be able to get food on the airplane. You want electricity at your seat. Those are two completely different experiences, but you get to choose the one that you prefer. Yes, there's some obvious trade-offs in convenience and other things, but you know what you're doing and you make a choice of which airline you're going to fly today. That doesn't mean you always have to fly that airline for the entire future, but today that's the choice you're going to make. So when you think about those different models, you should create a business that you want to run and appeal to clients who want to do that. And then go find people. Don't talk about how you're different from everybody else. Just talk about who you are and what you do. Forget everybody else. Your competition is irrelevant, but your clientele are not. Go find people who want to do business the way you want to serve them. Finally, number 6, your clients are your brand. Think about what that means. When you've got a good match between who you are and what you want to do and your clients and how they want to be served, when you've got a good fit, your clients become part of your brand. You could literally point to your clients and say, these are the people we serve. In many, many ways, this goes way back to the beginning of our discussion about how you set up your business. Remember, I talked about having an ideal client. Who do you want to do business with? That should be where you start. Figure out who you're going to sell to, and then you can figure out what you're going to sell and how you're going to sell it. If you start with the client in mind and you build a business to give them good services, give them good products, have a good relationship with them, you have truly built your business based on the people you want to do business with. And it literally becomes part of your brand. So in my IT training business, I literally say that what I do is I help IT consultants to be better at the business side of their business. So part of my branding is I help IT consultants. I don't help dentists be better at business. I don't help lawyers be better at business, or accountants, or plumbers, or roofers, or videographers. I help computer consultants, IT consultants, to be better at the business side of their business. So my clients are part of my brand. It's built in from the start. And so it makes it really easy to say, well, do we offer these services? Yes, that helps IT consultants be better at the business side of their business. Do we offer these services? No, that would not help IT consultants be better at the business side of their business. It really becomes a filter for you to be able to look at what you will do going forward, what you will offer, the kind of pricing that you'll have out there, and many, many other elements of promoting your business. So as you begin to go out and try to actually do marketing, you know who you're marketing. You also know what you look like in order to serve those people. At the end of the day, a service-based business is all about providing profound value to other people. And you can't do that to 7 billion people on Earth. So you have to define who your audience is and go give them profound value. For the Cheeky Sales Coach, this is Carl Palachuk. Wishing you the best of luck in everything you do. Call to action. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss a thing.